Ladies and gentlemen, let me get my breath. It's time! The Miami Hurricanes are taking on the Virginia Cavaliers this Thursday night, Hard Rock Stadium, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. Woo! What's going on, Canes fans? As frustrated as I am with this program right now, I'm still pumped because we have Miami Hurricanes football this week, and it is time that we get into the meat of our schedule because ACC play is here. This video is actually a couple of hours late because after that little intro with the fog machine, I could not get it out of this room. It was just lingering, hovering around. I had two fans set up in here, and I just couldn't get it out of here. So I had to actually evacuate the room for like 2 hours, then come back and now record. So you're welcome. So as you probably already know, this is a short week for the Canes, and I hate weekday games. There's not enough time in this video for me to give you all of the reasons why I hate weekday games, especially a Thursday. Like maybe I could argue for Fridays being okay, but a Thursday? The good news for us is that the game is at Hard Rock Stadium, and even though it won't be jam-packed, the Cavaliers haven't won a road game since 2019. But let's take a moment to talk about Virginia because that team actually had quite a bit of hype coming into the 2021 season, but here we are, and they are 2-2 with 2 ACC losses and a pair of wins against a couple of nobodies. And since we're on the topic of Virginia, we might as well just change the team name in this video to the Brennan Armstrong squad because that man is doing everything he can to carry that team, but one man can only do so much. Virginia's quarterback actually leads the NCAA in passing yards per game at 426. He is not afraid to be aggressive, and oftentimes it pays off. Where the Cavaliers are truly struggling right now, if we want to get down to the nitty-gritty, is discipline and defense. Oh, that's right. The double Ds. Penalties, and more penalties. You know that for this Virginia team that's going to be a point of emphasis this week and something that they try to improve on against Miami. But don't let all of this, let's back up a second. Don't let all of this negative talk or the record fool you because Virginia always seems to play Miami tough. And as a matter of fact, the last 3 games between these two teams have been one-score affairs in which the winning team didn't score more than 19 points. That's wild. Now, on the other hand, you have this Miami Hurricanes squad whose record is actually the same as Virginia. Both of us are 2-2. But there's a little more hope there. Even if Canes fans don't want to admit it, there's a little more hope there for Miami because this is our first ACC game. If we want to keep it real for a second, the majority of Miami fans are frustrated and have lost hope in this coaching staff, and understandably so, I get it. But the reality of the situation is that the ACC is wide open. It's literally right there for the taking. The biggest story for Miami right now is obviously going to be who is the starting quarterback for the Virginia game, because last week the young guys, TVD and Garcia, both shined. But we played a middle school team from Connecticut. So how do you really truly evaluate those guys? And also the depth chart was released today and it still has De'Aaron King as QB number 1. So my question is that a move to kind of confuse Virginia? Is that maybe just to kind of throw them off so they don't truly know who's going to come out and start? Because TVD and Jake Garcia both look good. But Manny Diaz has been very upfront in stating that De'Aaron King is QB number 1 as long as he's 100%? Or is that merely just to signify that De'Aaron King is still at that number 1 spot, and as soon as he does recover, he comes in and takes back over the starting role? I don't know. So let's briefly take a look at the history between these two teams. Miami and Virginia have faced off 18 times in total, with the Canes leading the series 11-7. And the game last year was way too close for comfort for Miami, but they did get the dub 19-14. And now let's take a moment and transition over to some average stats so far this season for both of these teams. And just keep in mind that, as always, I round these numbers up or down respectively. And we can actually pay a little more attention to these now because, we're going into week 5, so there's a little more meaning behind these. And some people might say that the numbers are still a little skewed because, Miami faced Alabama week 1. So, our averages started out very low in each of these categories. But at the same time, we've kind of padded them a little bit now at this point after playing Central Connecticut. So I'm going to put a little graphic image up here on your screen for you to take a look at. So average points per game so far this season for Virginia, 35. Miami coming in at very close, 31. Points allowed against them per game so far, Virginia 28, Miami 26. Average yards so far per game this season, Virginia coming in at a whopping 546, and that's mostly thanks to Brennan Armstrong and his arm. Miami 455, and yards allowed against them per game, Virginia coming in at 423 and Miami 370. Now that we've talked some numbers, let's discuss 3 keys to a victory for both of these teams, and let's kick it off with Virginia. Number 1, someone on the Virginia offense needs to help out quarterback Brennan Armstrong. I realize that's kind of vague and could mean a lot of different things, but use your imagination. The man cannot continue to carry this team for the rest of the season. He's doing everything that he can to try to help lead the Cavaliers to victory. And bro, somebody's got to help him out. Number 2, UVA must cut down on the penalties. 9 penalties for 102 yards against UNC and 11 penalties for 83 yards against Wake Forest. Virginia has been really bad about killing their own momentum so far this season. It's got to improve against Miami. And lastly, Virginia will have to establish a run game to avoid being one-dimensional in this matchup. Miami has struggled to wrap up and tackle, to say the absolute least. Do not even get me started on that topic. So Virginia should focus on getting a good push up front and picking up yards after contact, especially on the outside. And that shouldn't be too difficult for them to accomplish. That will allow the passing game, which is already a pretty big threat for Virginia, to open up a little bit more so Miami actually respects the run. And now 3 keys to a victory for the Miami Hurricanes in this matchup. And kicking it off at number 1, feed the Rooster. One of my favorite players on this squad, running back Jalen Knighton, was unfortunately suspended for our first 4 games, but now he's back and just in time. I honestly expect Cameron to still get the majority of the carries, but I feel like Knighton is more explosive, and UVA has been giving up an average of 201 rushing yards per game. So let's take this opportunity and get our ground game going for once. Number 2, please, Manny, please, I'm begging you, play some of the young guys. I'm not very hopeful for this after I heard the little press conference today, and that's why I'm making it a key to victory for this matchup, is that Manny needs to play some of the younger guys. I realized that last week was an inferior opponent. We already talked about it. But many of our freshmen and sophomores showed that they have more passion and fire than some of the older guys on this squad. I truly feel like that playing more young guys gives us the best chance to win this game. And lastly, give me a big-time special teams play. I want to see a punt or kickoff taken to the house to create some extra excitement on the sideline. It's been far too long. And now it's time for everyone's favorite part of the video, my score prediction for this game. Don't lie, there are some of you that actually skipped the meat of the video, the entire thing, and you just skipped over to this part right here. Shame on you. Shame on you if you did. I'm just playing. If that's what you do, if that's your thing, then whatever. But I appreciate all the people who watch all of my videos all the way through from beginning to end. You guys are the true OGs, the real heroes on this channel. So thank you guys for that. But anyways, I'm getting a little sidetracked. My score prediction for the game. Before we do it, however, we always got to do this. The ESPN matchup predictor popping up on your screen right here. They have Virginia's win percentage chance coming in at 28.8% and Miami at 71.2%. So a little bit of home field advantage here for Miami. And I believe the spread currently, at the time of filming this video, has Miami favored by 4 points. Okay, so I thought long and hard about this one. You know, Canes fans are down and out. Miami escaped with the victory against App State. We beat down Central Connecticut like we should, like would be expected of us to do. But you can't truly judge where we're at after beating Central Connecticut because we're expected to put a beat down on that team. And you know what? Let me just go ahead and tell you. I got Miami putting up 27 points. And I have the Virginia Cavaliers putting up 24. So I do have Miami starting out 1-0 in the ACC and getting the dub in a close one against Virginia. I think that the trend continues that this game is actually too close for comfort, but Miami does escape with a victory at home against the Virginia Cavaliers. I'm going to tell you something. This predicting scores for the Miami Hurricanes, even not even just scores, just wins and losses. Predicting a win or a loss for the Miami Hurricanes is probably one of the hardest jobs in the entire world to do because there are so many factors that play a part into it. Number one, you just don't even know what Miami Hurricane squad is going to show up. Number two, this is a short week. So can Miami properly prepare and look ready for this team? Number three, who's going to be the quarterback? That would absolutely impact my score prediction. I feel more confident with some of the younger guys playing. I'm just being honest, and I'm not judging it solely off the Central Connecticut State game. Let's be real here. It's not about that beatdown, that 69-0. It was a middle school, bro. I get it, but I'm just saying that the young guys look more fired up. They play with passion, and I think that they give us a better chance to win the game. And I don't know if Manny is actually going to play any of the younger guys. You know, if you look at the depth chart, it's the same old with just a few exceptions. So I don't know. This game is really going to come down to if Manny's willing to put some of those younger guys in. It's going to come down to can we actually prepare on a short week. And Virginia always plays us hard, even though they're 2-2, even though they're 0-2 in the ACC. That doesn't matter. They're going to play us tough. And you know that the Rock is not going to be packed for a Thursday night game. It just is what it is. So crowd is not going to be a big factor in this matchup. But I do have Miami getting the victory, and I'm confident in that score prediction. What I'm really worried about, even though it's been up and down so far for them, is that North Carolina game coming up next week. But we can't get caught sleeping on this weekday game looking ahead to North Carolina. So leave your score predictions down below in the comment section, or let's just chit chat, talk about the game. We can also just talk about the state of the program. And if you really want to vent and talk about the state of the program, you need to check out my episodes that I upload every Sunday called Walking and Venting with Coop, where I bring up hot, juicy, steamy, debatable topics when it comes to the Miami Hurricanes, and we just be blunt and honest and upfront about how we feel, myself included. I put it all out there in the video, and then I ask you to do the same. So check those out. We did an episode this last Sunday. That was episode number 3. And also don't forget that I will be live for this Miami versus Virginia game. We'll be live, hanging out, reacting, and I will also have links for the game if you need them so you can watch the game for free. So I'm pumped. I'm excited. I wish this game was on Saturday night, not Thursday night, but it is what it is. All eyes will be on us because as far as I know, that's the only college football game on Thursday night. Don't quote me on that. But everybody's going to be watching Miami's first ACC matchup of the season. Where do we stand? Remember, though, guys, we're all one big happy college football family. But at the end of the day, I got to say, it's always better when you get to rep the U. Coach Coop, peace out.